Okay, so in this video, we're going to put together the tassel Christmas ornament, and we're going to begin with the main structure, which is this piece here. And I just want you to just get everything folded at the score lines. Okay, just like that. Get all the score lines nice and folded. And there's a set of tabs here. One of them is really tiny. You can see it there. Just go ahead and fold that, but we're not actually going to put glue on it. It's really just there so that it kind of finishes off the piece, and so that you don't see a gap between these little sections. So this is really cool because it's just one piece. And even if you can't completely bend that piece, it's okay, because we're going to tuck it away. Do your best to kind of fold that little piece over. It will fold. Just kind of maybe move that other piece out of the way to get that to fold. Okay, and all we're going to do is just begin by just joining the segments together, and just get your glue. And like I said, you can try to put glue on that little tab there, but again, I don't think it's really necessary. So just begin by putting glue on the small little tab there. And these are really delicate little areas, so you don't need much. And actually, you can go ahead and put glue on both of the little teeth there. And just go ahead and get that nice and lined up with its neighbor. I would hold that middle tab in place first, just to make sure it got a good grip, and then work your way towards the top. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Very, very simple. And do your best to make sure that those are nice and aligned. Okay, and then we can move on to the next one here. And you can kind of push that out of the way so that you don't get glue all over the place. Just like that. And begin gluing that next piece into place, like so. Okay, so that one's got a grip. I'm gonna go ahead and move my way up. Make sure that's got a nice grip. And just continue down the row. Kind of move that out of the way for just a second. Place my glue on the little tab here. Swing that piece back over and just begin by gluing that first little tooth there. Make sure that's got a nice grip, and then get that other one up there. And this piece is going to be hidden away, so even if it's a little bit off, it's not the end of the world, because we're actually going to put some tassels over it, or the main tassel piece over it. So do your best, but don't stress. Do your best, but don't stress. I think I've got myself a new little motto. All right, so we're just making our way down the row here, holding that one in place, making sure that it gets a good grip, and then moving my way up to the next tab. Okay. And repeat. And again, that little tiny one there, I wouldn't worry too much about it, because again, it's mostly just there so that you don't see a gap in this design. It's just kind of, it's not really necessary to glue that piece down. Okay, so we get that glued. Just give it a few seconds to hold, and then move your way up to the next piece, or the next tooth. And there we go. Okay. And we can go ahead and close this guy up. I'm going to move these pieces out, and we want to take that piece out as well. And what I'm probably going to do is get this long tab glued first. So give it a nice line of glue in the center, And then do your best to get a nice thin line of glue out to the edge, just so we get that nice seamless edge. Okay, and then focus your attention towards the bottom of this piece and just make sure that you've got it nice and flush with the bottom. You can kind of stick your finger in through the top to get it nice and perfectly aligned, like so. And just push and hold that down until it gets nice and dry. Okay. And then we can go ahead and kind of scooch this little piece out. You don't want to take it all the way out. As long as you get glue out to the edge there, should be more than enough to hold it into place. And then you can go ahead and close this shape up. So the beautiful part about these ornaments from the Elegant Ornaments SVG bundle is that there's not a lot of pieces, and we tried to engineer them so that they go together quickly. Now, unfortunately, everything can't be super quick, otherwise we'd be sacrificing the pretty the pretty quality. But I think for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so we've got the main structure here put together, and we can go ahead and close this shape up by putting glue on these tabs here. Okay, now I'm going to pop these tabs out just a tiny bit so that as I'm pushing down, this piece grabs more of the surface area. Okay, so you can go ahead and just hold that down until it dries, or at least until it gets a decent hold. And again, this part's not really going to be showing too much, so that's how that should look. Okay, and what we can do at this point is go ahead and close this top off, and I'm going to pop these tabs out and get a nice thin layer of glue on these tabs. Try to get it out to the edge there where the score line is, so that when we pop that top on, it gives us a nice seamless finish. And using this quick dry glue, I'm kind of literally dragging it right on the surface of the paper so that it doesn't have a chance to, you know, get out of control. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that piece on. And when you're putting this piece on, you may have to kind of scooch things around, just like kind of push on the various sides until you know that you've got it nice and perfectly lined up. Okay. And again, we're going to have some decorative pieces on this, the actual tassels, so that'll probably hide any more imperfections that you may have as you're building it. But to me, that's a great little piece. Okay, and next thing we're going to do is actually assemble the top parts of this piece. Okay, so go ahead and just begin folding at the score lines here, just to get everything into position. Okay, and now this piece is going to be coming out this way, so you want to kind of fold those out. Okay. Very simple ornaments. I think the main assembly is going to go pretty quick, and then that's going to give you ample time to really embellish these things the way you want to embellish them, because that's really, you know, we're kind of giving you a canvas to put your own touch to. So that's kind of exciting, actually. You guys are going to totally dig these, I think. Okay, so you kind of want them going in this direction like that. Okay, and then these tabs we're going to fold under, and then just go ahead and wiggle these back and forth a little bit to get them loosened up. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect these pieces using these little tabs. So it's pretty straightforward. Just putting glue on that little tab and connecting it to the neighbor. Just make sure that you've got it nice and aligned. Okay, and then we can move him out of the way and put glue on this guy here. and get him connected. Just make sure that you're following, well, that you're aligning the two pieces correctly. Okay, you see the form that that's starting to create? All right, so we've got that, and again, all we're gonna do is just repeat this process a few more times until we get this thing closed up, and then the rest of it is gonna be a cakewalk. Okay. All right. Super simple, actually, but super elegant. This is probably one of my favorites out of the bunch. And they're all beautiful, but something about the tassel. And I'll show you here at the end of the video kind of what we did to finish it off with embellishments and things of that nature. But again, the beauty of paper crafting is you can do whatever you want to do once you get this thing put together and really make it your own. Okay, so go ahead and continue the process here. As you can see, it's pretty repetitive. It's a decent size, so you can really get your fingers in there. It's not too small to work with. I think we hit it right on the head with the size of these ornaments. They're very workable, and I know a lot of people, actually this one's been selling really well, and I know a lot of people that are gonna make these with their family, their kids. They're definitely going to use them on their trees, and there's absolutely no reason why you can't store these just like your other ornaments. And actually one of the ornaments that we created, the one that's called the round ornament, there's a little circle piece inside that you can actually cut out someone's picture and pop it in there, which is really cool. So be sure to check that one out. I'll probably have to do a tutorial on that. Okay, so I'm at the last leg here. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of connect these pieces together. I'm gonna start at the bottom just to make sure that I've got the right shape and alignment for this thing. I think the bottom's probably the most crucial to make sure you match up correctly. So I'm just making sure that I've got it nice and aligned there at the bottom. Nice and flush. Okay, and actually, I'm sorry, let me take that off. You will want to put glue on all of these tabs, because as we're closing this up, it's going to be hard to undo that and actually open it up without tearing it up. So you're going to have to kind of work a little quick to get this in place, but it shouldn't be too bad. So while you're holding this bottom part, you can kind of, actually that already got a good grip, so I'm not really too overly concerned about that. And just kind of pushing here, and there you go. That thing's already got a good grip. Now, because I'm not applying a lot of force inside, you may want to give it a little bit of more time to dry. And actually I can stick my finger in there to get that piece in place. So that was actually very easy. So I'm going to go ahead and push these tabs down and push these tabs down like that. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on these tabs here. So I'm putting a nice amount on the inside, and then again try to spread some glue out to the edge there so we get a nice clean seam. Okay, that looks good. You're going to pop these out a little bit so that when you're pushing this down, we grab more surface area. And just like we did with the first piece, wait till it gets its initial hold. So just give it a few seconds, and then you may need to kind of just scooch things around to make sure that you've got it nice and aligned, and that looks really good. Okay, so just hold that, make sure that it dries. You can put that down on your table, actually, if you'd like, and we can continue on our journey here. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on these tabs. Get a nice little bit of glue on there, and then I'm just taking the nozzle and kind of working the glue down towards the bottom there where the tabs, or I'm sorry, where the score lines are, so that when I pop this piece on, it gives us a nice clean finish. And just like the other pieces, you might have to kind of scooch things around a little bit and push them inward to get that perfect alignment. Okay, so that is looking good. It's a great looking little piece. Okay, so at this point, we've got these two pieces put together, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue this on here. But before we do that, you can go ahead and, let me grab these pieces here so I can show you real quick. Now, we actually did this, here's our final one. This is the little strip that I'm gonna show you here. These we actually did in a silver foil. So you're gonna wanna go ahead and glue these all the way around. And then there's a smaller one that goes right on top. Okay, so get those glued into place. And then actually here, I've got one more little piece here that I need to show you as far as the assembly goes. It's the top part where you actually put your string. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold these out. Let me make sure that I'm doing this right. Okay, so you're gonna fold these out and you're gonna glue these back to back. Okay, so go ahead and put glue on the inside here. And glue that back to back. Make sure you've got it nice and perfectly aligned. Okay, and again, we did this in a silver foil, and then that is going to get glued right onto the top. There is a slight little border around it, so you're going to want to get that glued into place. Okay, so yours will have the little top part as well as these little accent pieces, and then there is this little strip here that's got score lines, and that is going to get glued right flush to the bottom of this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on all these sides here, and just make sure that you get some glue out to the bottom and the top of that piece there so that we get a nice clean seam. Okay, you just start on one side and just wrap it around like so. Okay, and kind of, there we go, just like that. All right, and next we can go ahead and put glue on the bottom of this piece and glue that to the top of this piece. Kind of looks like a baby bottle a little bit. Okay, and finally we have our little tassel pieces. Okay, so let me just show you how these work. There's two different types. Okay, so do your best to kind of get them organized. They're all the same length, but the design is slightly different. So you'll be able to tell when you look at them that the design is slightly different. And just get them kind of organized by style as far as the cutouts go. You should have 6 of each. Okay, and it doesn't really matter which one you put where. It depends on how you get it cut out. In our final version, we did the first layer in just white cardstock and then the top layer in glitter. So if you're gonna do the glitter, make sure that the top layer that you put down is your glitter layer. But the first layer that I'm gonna put down, I'll show you how I'm gonna glue it. Okay, so what I did was actually, I took and I trained this piece just up at the top, because if you don't, the little bottom parts of this tassel kind of flare out, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put glue here at the top, and I'm going to position that into place. And as you can see, training it like that kind of makes it hug this base a lot better. And one thing that I totally forgot to mention here is there are 2 different designs. Okay, if you look at them closely, you'll see, and And honestly, I don't think it matters if you mix and match them, but when you cut them out, if you're gonna do it like we did, where we have the base layer in a white cardstock and then the second layer in glitter, obviously you wanna make sure that you're layering it correctly. So just keep an eye out for that. And now let me show you one more time here. I'm just taking and I'm training this piece, okay? And another thing I forgot to mention was I put glue here at the top, and then I put little dots of glue along the two outermost pieces here, just because I kind of don't want them to stick out. I want them to really hug the ornament, okay? So then I just glue it, making sure that this is nice and flush, and then I just push down on these pieces here. And then at the end, okay, so we've got 2 layers down right now. Let's pretend we have all 6. I'm gonna do the same thing with the top layer. Okay, I'm gonna curve that, and I'm gonna glue this to right on top of the other one. I'm just putting, actually, you know what, with the top layer, I didn't put glue on that, I'm sorry. So we just glue that right on top of the other one, okay? And I actually, there we go. So the idea is to have the 2 different shapes on top of each other so that you don't really see through the design too much, okay? So there's that. So you're gonna put 6 and 6, so you have the 2 layers. And then when you're done, all I did was I just took and kind of curled these up, okay? So that's pretty much it. Let me show you the final version here. As you can see, we've got the top layer in the glitter, the layer underneath it in white cardstock. As far as the tassel portions, we added some rhinestones, tied a little bow around this section here, not a bow, just put some ribbon around here, and added more bling, and then tied it up with this silver string. And then I did add a bow to this, and there will be a separate video to show you how I made these bows. They're really simple, actually. So that is your tassel ornament.
Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.